Welcome, beautiful soul, back to the channel. My name is Annika, and today's cosmic message is going to be pick a card. So you're going to be able to choose pile 1 or pile 2, and I'm going to start with a quick collective message. So it just felt like it had to be a little bit more individual today. Anyway, I'll put the timestamps below. So if you want to go straight to picking a pile and then to your pile, you can find the links in the description. And if you want to stick around for the collective message, you'll know it in your soul, you'll know it in your bones. Okay, so for the collective message, we got the cosmic egg. This is from the Kim Krans Animal Spirit, by the way. And then we have the Doreen Virtue Angel deck. Okay, so we got the cosmic egg, and with the cosmic egg, I pulled out trust. And so this is a sign that you have been putting in a lot of effort for a very long time on yourself, on refining your consciousness, on growing as a soul, on growing as a person, on understanding the mysteries of life itself, of creation itself. And of course, this is a spiral journey, and it's not always like up, 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 up. And you might not acknowledge how much you have put in, but you have done so much, and you've had these glimpses of cosmic consciousness because of all that you've moved through, all that you have done, all that you've experienced, this whole journey that you've gone on ever since you first started to wake up to a sense of there's something more going on here than just what I maybe was told from a young age. And this journey of awakening, of awareness, comes with a lot of clearing, a lot of cleansing. And you're now at this point where you have put in so much effort, and you're being asked to trust in the benevolent workings of creation itself, working in your favor to unfold what's coming next for you. And there are times in our life where we are asked to muscle it out a little bit more. And then there are times in our life where it's actually going to benefit us more to surrender, step into the frequency of surrender and trust, because it's a frequency. It puts you on a timeline where things are working out for you when you choose to trust. You're selecting that timeline. And you can loosen the grip so that the ethers, anything that's supporting you, your angels, the force of creation itself, which is you on this grand scale, can make things happen for you. And you can choose to be surprised and delighted by them, and just surrender to the current a little bit. So that's what's being asked of you. And what I also pulled with this is meditation. And so meditation, whatever puts you in that meditative state, this is going to give you a huge, huge return always, but especially right now. We're in numerologically a 9-year. 2 + 2 + 5 is 9, 2025. And 9 is highly connected to the spiritual realms, the subtle realms. And so the more that you can be establishing this connection, the more benefit and support and insight and intuition and guidance and magnetism you're going to be receiving, like this subtle infusion. So you're really going to get a lot from consistently creating this cosmic connection, because you're basically uplinking to your higher self when you meditate, and then your higher self can do work for you. It can tell you where to go, it can tell you what to do, it can magnetize this person to you, line you up with this situation, you can be in the right place at the right time. It like makes everything work better. So it's not just the idea of like, I'm going to calm the mind and feel more peaceful. No, you are a cosmic being, and you can bridge that gap between the limited perspective you're experiencing now and your quantum self. And then your life can go quantum. The synchronicities go up. Your knowing of what you're supposed to do goes up. It's like you're moving from more faded timelines to destiny timelines, and then higher and higher destiny timelines. And so meditation is going to be really key. And then that's like, when I'm saying that there's less you have to grip onto and do in terms of control, you always want to do what you're inspired to do. You want to take care of what you have to do, all of these things. But you don't have to fight against the current or really grip right now. The one thing that's being asked of you is to meditate, to connect to your source, and then trust it. Enter that frequency of surrender where you can let life carry you into this next phase, because you have put in so much legitimate effort. And this is a moment to be a little bit more subtle, a little bit more open. This is like it's like such a spiritual message here. You're being really supported. So you're being asked to trust your angels. And if that's hard for you to do, you can ask the angels to help you to trust. You can also ask the angels to help you to meditate if that's something you're not as enthusiastic about. But this is a really, really magical time where you're experiencing a lifting of the veil, and you're experiencing moments of this cosmic consciousness. And those aren't just fleeting moments, they infuse you for the rest of your journey. So that's the collective message. Now, if you would like to pick a pile, we're gonna pick between crystals. So we have the famous yellow fluorite, and that is pile 1. And then we have some amethyst, and that is pile 2. So tune in. You already know. You already know. Now you can go to the timestamp below and pick the amethyst if you want, because we are going to start off with the yellow fluorite right here, right now. Okay, so that collective message about just like relaxing a little bit into the flow, definitely for you, because we have the busy bee card here, and the busy bee, it's a jubilant energy, it's an uplifting energy, and it is able to get so much done and do so much. It's a joy to have around. It's enthusiastic until it's overworked, overspent, has overgiven. And so that can be the detriment of the bee, because you go, and then all of a sudden you're tanked, you're completed, you're completed. I mean, I guess that works, but that's not what I was trying to say. Depleted, and there's no more to give. And so like the tank is empty, and the energy around this is to, once again, this is the card of meditation. It's to relax your frequency, stop buzzing around, less doing, more being, observing, connecting to the subtle realms. Honestly, meditating. The more you can meditate, the better. You can also walk, you can pray, you can listen to frequency music. But the bee, it's like buzzing all the time. And there's this essence here of you need to relax your frequency, and you need to let yourself relax, which if you've been going, it can there can be so much resistance to it. But the second that your nervous system actually just relaxes, it's going to feel so good, and so much is going to clear, and so much insight is going to come, and you'll be in like a whole new state. You'll be in a whole new reality, because when you calm your frequency and your energy field, you also become less of a magnet for things that are requiring you to be busy all the time. And then you can just be more effective, clear, coherent, moving in alignment with your soul, moving in alignment with what is really important, and really still moving the ball forward and making so many things happen, but it's coming from an entirely different frequency. And this is what is going to lead to this. It's going to reconnect you to your inherent power, the power of who you truly are, because you're once again reclaiming your power to choose your frequency, to choose your state, which is choosing your timeline. And when it's from a state of calm connection, a relaxed frequency where like insight, intuition can actually flow through, you feel like you have the space to receive, to give, to make moves that are powerful. You're not saying yes to everything, but you're saying yes for what's right to you. You're saying no to the other things. Like, you start to remember who you really are and what you can actually really do. Because if there's no room in your field for like your higher self to flow through, you're going to be operating from a limited perspective. And there's only so far you can go in that realm. You're not connected to your infinite self. So the possibilities aren't infinite. The expansion isn't infinite. It keeps you in a certain frequency state. And so this is going to help you reclaim to your infinite power. You're going to remember who you really are, what you're really doing here. And of course, you've remembered this before, but you just might be in such a state that is like a little bit more frantic, where it's hard to even care or to like remember the embodied experience of like, I know what I'm supposed to do. And especially because things are always changing, we have to remain and always come back to it, because like the guidance that we get for what's next is always going to be different. Intuition works in the way that it will tell you the next step and the next step, but it's not necessarily going to tell you the whole plan. And if it does, most likely that plan is going to change. And that's also going to bring back this space for ideas and inspiration to come through. And they're going to be connected to this source of your infinite self, your infinite power. And so that is the whole thing of like, you change your frequency, you change your timeline, because all of a sudden you're connected to the ideas, inspiration, and power of your own soul. And like the moves you make from there are going to lead to an entirely different life than the one where you're just operating on react, accomplish, check off the thing on the to-do list. And that is why the meditation can take you quantum, because it can change your state and it can connect you with the channel that brings you the information that takes you on the quantum path of your own destiny. So that is your message. If you're a meditator, you already know what to do. If you're not, there's tons of amazing meditations on YouTube. There's frequencies you can listen to, or you just sit and you go silent, and it's like you're letting the dust settle, and then everything can expand. Much love, many, 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 many blessings. And I'll be back here tomorrow. So maybe see you there. Mwah. Okay, pile 2. The amethyst. Okay, this message was super clear, and I just have to hold all these cards up together because it's so pretty and it's so purple. And it's just a total vibe. Look at all these colors. So pretty. Okay, so first I pulled out the black egg, which is to do with your truth. And it has to do with the throat chakra and the ability to know your own truth from knowing yourself, and then the ability to express that in all the ways, whether it be through writing, through your music, through conversation with friends, being able to express from a place of coherence and a place of truth. And it also came out with the stingray, which is about developing confidence, a sense of self, or a spine. I feel called to read this one. It represents a pivotal point in personal growth. The moment has come when you must decide between the old, easy, comfortable, and familiar, and the new, challenging, uncomfortable, and unfamiliar, which is where your soul wants you to go. Pressure from family and friends makes the decision even more complicated. But no matter what choice is made now, it's inevitable that this dilemma of comfort or the growth, the expansion, the change will surface again and again as the force of Dharma growing within the stingray is too strong to ignore. So this is the message that you're feeling this soul calling to transform. And whenever this happens, there will be forces outside of you, which everything outside of us is just this reflection of us, that we feel almost are like they're in opposition to this change, because that means everything is going to change. You know what I mean? And the message here is that, like, now or later, eventually you're going to have to change and transform and listen to the calling of your soul. And the calling gets louder and louder and louder and louder. So you might as well do it now. And it's always uncomfortable at first, but the best thing we can do in life is, like, learn to somehow fall in love with and romanticize and enjoy the discomfort of transformation and change, because it's the nature of who we are. It's the nature of our soul, the nature of our spirit, and especially you. This is like a very spiritually guided group. Like the Kundalini that's activated in this stingray, you're going through this new activation of consciousness. Kundalini is the life force energy that lives at the base of our spine. And when we stir it up, it starts to rise up through the chakras up to the crown chakra. And then we have the cosmic consciousness connection. And so it's actually very scientific. Like people who don't believe in God versus people who do. And you could replace God with any term, like the universe, the quantum nature of reality, your higher self, like all of these things, like some sort of grander force of life. It's like, it's literally scientific. Your crown chakra, your pineal and your pituitary gland are not activated. And so you're not having that experience. Some people, when it comes to religion, it might be a belief, but for people who have experienced it, like, I guess in the realms of like spirituality, it can be a belief too, but oftentimes it's like actually an experience. Oftentimes it's people who didn't even believe in anything, and then you have an experience and you're like, oh, well, what more is there? What out there should I believe in more than my own personal experience of this? But that kind of thing cannot be put into like data. And I mean, it can nowadays. Shout out like Joe Dispenza and other people who are actually quantifying this. But anyway, you're having a Kundalini activation, and that is calling a next level of yourself to come forth. And that requires change. And so it can feel like somewhat of an ego death. And that is so on point for this year, because it's a 9-year. It's about completion. It's about change. It's about transformation. And it's about endings. And the thing about endings is when it's time for them to end, we can fight the flow, or we can dive in head first and we can be like, universe, take me, because eventually, like, you'll be pushed to the point of surrender. So the advice here is to embrace the change, embrace the transformation, and trust that anything and anyone that is still meant to be there on the other side will be. And that the people and the things that your soul actually genuinely desires to connect with are on the other side of that. And it's going to be so fulfilling. And so part of this transformation has to do with you discovering your own truth, and then your ability to communicate it and to express in a way that is like fully authentic to your soul is going to be coming from this transformation. And your soul is begging to speak through you. It's begging to. And when the throat chakra opens up and you're able to embody your truth, that is really a next level awakening. It's the 5th chakra. It almost takes you into the 5th dimension, where there's a lot less density than just being in the third dimension. And of course it encompasses the third dimension. So it's not like you're actually leaving anything behind. You're actually doing such a service to anyone who's in your realm, because you impact others just with your frequency. And so you're just going to be infusing everybody with a higher frequency, which ultimately all our souls are going back to the ocean. So we got it with, actually we got this in reverse. So we got it with 6 of air in reverse. So it's this clarity in reverse. So you, sorry about the noise. So you might, because you're going through this awakening and like you're not sure, you don't want to ruffle feathers, you're not sure, am I going to stay in the comfort? Am I going to go forward? Am I going to change? It could not even be about other people. It could be just be about your subconscious really wanting you to stay the same. But your soul really wants you to move forward. And your spirit team is really encouraging you too. But because of that, and because there's like this alchemy of like you being on the way to discover your truth, your ability to express it, or if you already have gone through this before, doing it on a whole new level, there feels like there's a lack of clarity, and there feels like almost like a stress, because it's like you have not fully burst through yet, and you almost are in the space where you're like, you haven't decided yet if you actually want to. But you are gonna do it. So maybe this message is going to help you just be like, the clarity is dissolved. We're just going for it. Because the lack of clarity, it's so interesting, because there is only one way for you to go, and there's only one way you're gonna go. But when we fight that way, we feel like there's a lack of clarity, but your soul already knows the answer. It already knows where it's going. Like there's actually nothing to stress about. It's just time to get real with yourself and embrace it. And your angels want you to know that you have so much etheric support. When a soul is about to break through like this to a next level, which we keep doing no matter how far we've gone, the support that surrounds us is immense. So you can call upon your angels, you can call upon your spirit team out loud, and you can request assistance to make this process easier. And I swear nothing hits like some angelic support. If you don't know all the angels, you can ask Archangel Michael to send you whatever angel you need to help you to move through this transformation with ease, grace, joy, excitement, elation, all the things. Speak it out. Speak life into yourself. Speak life into yourself. Every day you can say like, I am transforming for the better. I am fully embodying my truth. I know my truth. I express my truth. I know who I am. I love myself. I love who I am, who I was, and who I'm becoming. Anything that you want to speak out, it is creating patterns, new realities for you. It's no small feat, actually, speaking out loud, especially with the I am, because before Abraham was, I am. I am is the original source creation code. So you can build worlds, you can build new versions of self with I am. You can command reality. Which brings me to intention. Hold an intention as you move through this. You don't have to sit in this lack of clarity. You can be like, I actually know that I want to experience freedom. I want to experience love. I want to experience abundance. I want to experience expansion. Whatever it is for you, you can hold the intention, and every day just focus in on that intention. And you can use the I am statements, but you can also just keep it as your North Star in your consciousness and feel that there is a method behind, there's a direction to this energy that you are choosing through tuning into your own soul, your own spirit, your own intuition. And this is you like really like embracing the truth of who you really are. which is a very powerful being who's very supported by the etheric realms, who has a very potent truth to embody, to honor, to accept, and to express. And you're going through this next awakening because it was written, it was coded. So it's time to accept it, turn the wheel around, decide you are clear, you know where you're going, you know what you're doing. You got this. You're powerful as fuck. Okay, I love you. Much, much love, many blessings, and I will be back tomorrow. So maybe see you there. Mwah.